Alrighty, ladies and gents, welcome back to the Away Days second podcast of the week. We're starting something new here. Nathan's back on myself. Two intellects now, not two yelling yell on that side of the table. A bit more calmness in this podcast.
The non-wafflers.
Yeah, exactly. Much, We won't be here for 3 hours on the same argument. Nathan's back. Thanks for coming back on, man.
Good to be on.
This one will be less just English-based, it'll be more global-based. I'm really excited to get it kicked off, so you'll be seeing his face more often, everyone. So there he is right there. I wanted to start off, as you're saying this, we'll go back into England real quick just before we get started, talking a little about the FA Cup. Not too many surprises. I got the results up here. Obviously, my guys won. United won overnight, which is something. Yeah,
pretty expected.
Yeah, if you'd lost that, you'd be a lot of problems.
Exactly. Yeah. I think we'd have a 2-hour, 10-hour grand.
It must be another 4-person round if 10 hour get lost. But thank God for that. We got the win there. Man City did their thing. They beat Huddersfield 5-0.
Yep.
The big one, I guess, out of the whole weekend was just you guys getting the result 2-0.
Yeah.
We discussed a little bit yesterday. Just your thoughts as a Liverpool fan. Happy?
Oh, very happy, yeah. Going into the game, I didn't really have any expectations. I was kind of just going there, maybe, have a couple of guys play some key minutes. But overall, I was really happy with the performance. Like, first half, Arsenal should have been up 2-0. Like, Havertz was Havertz. Havertz was Havertz. But, like, first sort of 30 seconds, minute in, I was like, okay, we could be in a bit of trouble here, because he was playing Gakpo as part of the midfield three and Elliott as part of the front three. And I was like, I thought it was just kind of obvious. Diaz goes to the right. Gakpo, we get the most out of Gakpo on the left.
Yep.
Nunes through the middle, and Elliott's been really good as that sort of right central midfielder. So,
exactly, yeah.
But
he seems to like him as the winger, though.
Yeah. Right? I think he's got a bit of trickery about him.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the pace, but he's good on the ball. But yeah, I think it was kind of the perfect game. Klopp got to sort of rotate different sort of lineups.
Yeah.
He brought on a couple of youngsters in like the 75th minute.
Connor
Bradley was unreal at right back. Like when he came on, I thought, and it was weird. Like I think Arteta as well. I think he would have learnt a lot from Klopp that game, because Klopp brings on Bradley and I think it was Bobby Clark into the midfield
as well,
and he takes off Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott, and I think he can look at like sort of Curtis Jones and Elliott, they're kind of the same sort of age bracket as Saka. And we see how much Saka is overplayed, and thinking about like, okay, I don't need to play Saka every minute of every game. And Elliott and Jones Jones missed a lot because obviously the suspension against Tottenham, and Elliott's been mostly playing in the Europa League. So
I love Harvey Elliott, and we were saying this on the podcast, which had already gone out by the time this one goes out, about where Gakpo best fits. And I still think, for me, like I understand, I'm liking he's trying him in different spots because it doesn't feel like he's quite found his spot. But I feel like Gakpo is at his best on the left flank or as a number 10 with the proper front three. But with the team you put out, I just thought it made sense. Let Elliott come in as almost a number 10 or forward playmaking midfielder. And like, fair play to you guys, because you had all this going on. You had young guys playing, you had some of the experienced guys. There was mixed matching formations, and I think as much as it from the outside it could appeared like chaos, I think Klopp just knew what he was doing and he nailed it to a T. And that's 100%. What was so impressive for me. Like, you had guys resting, like Virgil wasn't playing. Some of the big, you haven't got Matip injury-wise, but he's not there. So you lose a lot of leadership. Trent's captain the side. He puts in a great performance. You got Bradley off the bench. Big performances. I think Diaz was quiet first half, but second half made a big impact.
Yeah, big time. I think just sometimes that's all it takes, just switching wings. That's all it takes, man.
Literally that.
I think Nunes or Gakpo can play on the left. For me, I'd prefer Gakpo just because I think in the old Liverpool system with Henderson and Wijnaldum, I think it suits Gakpo more. But in the new sort of system that we're playing, it's very direct. It's looking to hit those channels.
Yeah.
I think Gakpo's much better down the left. But like, it was just the defensively, Kwanzaa was unreal. Kanate was ridiculous at the back. Like,
Kanate, for a guy who's been hit and miss, like when he came across, started very well. Little bit of a drop off. People questioning, is he really going to be the person to succeed or partner up with Verge? Over the last few weeks, since the injury and towards the midpoint of the season here, he's put in performances to show us that maybe he's going to take that mantle on now. Because again, there was questions about his ability. Is he consistent enough? Is he good enough? But I tell you what, him and Kwanzaa, there's a bit of competition there now. But
Kwanzaa saved us 50, 60 million on going to buy a new centre back. And I think like
Local.
yeah, pretty much. And I think the worry with Konate has always been, can he stay 100% fit for multiple games in a week? Like this season, we're playing him one game, and then if we've got like a midweek cup game, we're not playing him because he just can't do back to back to back.
Yeah.
So I mean, if he can stay fit and find a way to consistently play, he's going to be huge at centre back.
Quads on. That's what everyone's saying. The quads on.
I mean, you never know, but
it's a decent cup draw in terms of the Carabao Cup.
Yeah,
I back you in there.
Fulham in a couple of days.
Yeah, it depends how the Premier League goes in terms of how much you really go for the Europa League. But Premier League, you know,
it's
on.
on.
It's there. It's there.
Until it's not on, it's on.
Yeah, it's definitely on. That was where the biggest game out of them all. Villa scraped through 1-0 over Borough.
Yep.
West Ham got a replay versus Bristol, which is going to be interesting to see how they manage that.
Sunderland just got mauled by.
Yeah, everyone was hyping that game up, but it was rubbish in the
end.
end.
Do you think that sort of shows, like, I think Sunderland are around the playoff spots for the Championship. Yeah. Newcastle struggling, a lot of injuries. Do you think that kind of shows the level between the Premier League and the Championship a little bit?
Like, we're talking, I'm also touching now, there's been thoughts going through my mind. Like, look at a lot of the Saudi or Arab sort of investment, and now the American investment as well. Yep. I looked at Bournemouth, and they're building the whole new stadium, whole new training ground. I mean, like Michael B. Jordan's bought a part in that club. Like, I think what's going to happen now is in the past where teams, you have a few teams going up and down. Recently, it's been like 3 up and 3 down. Now I feel like it's going to be a case of, like, if you go down, it's actually a big hit. The rebound payment is not going to be enough now because the big, like we say it a lot now, it's like a Big 12, Big 10 now in the Premier League in terms of expenditure, in terms of size of stadiums, in terms of fans, you know, globally. It's becoming a bigger gap. And that's what I think as a championship club, like Sunderland's trying to break back in. I know Newcastle have the whole Saudi money, but you're right. They've been out of form, questions at the manager. Yeah. It wasn't quite lined up. And you go and just batter your rivals in their biggest game of their season, probably 3-0.
Yeah, Sunderland were so disappointing. They didn't even lay a glove.
No, I think they had 1 shot on goal or 2 shots on target.
The first goal they conceded is like, it's just unlucky. It's a freakish sort of own goal. But to come out in the second half and to just lose the ball that easily and just give a free goal, like, the game's done.
They're at home as well.
At least if it's 1-0 in the 70th minute,
you
know, you get the crowd up, you're still in the game. All it takes is a set piece, a mistake. And to give a goal away like that was just ridiculous.
The way they defended was poor. They didn't win the ball back enough for me.
No.
And I think the manager, she said that they weren't good enough defensively because, let's be honest, Newcastle's defence has been very shaky recently. Like, that was their identity last season. Yeah. Nowhere near that. You're missing, obviously, some big names. But I thought, get out. Like you're right. If it's 1-0 in the 70th minute, send some long balls on the beat your rep. Just like throw your body around. Yeah. They can't do that when you're 2-0 down. And it was tough because I really wanted to see a good game.
Oh, yeah.
I everyone wanted to see a good game. I was tuning in. I was keen to watch it. Didn't deliver for me. So
no, it wasn't.
That's another disappointing one. Other ones in there as well. I guess for all the casuals, Wrexham won 1-0. So if you're watching Welcome to Wrexham, there's another FA Cup run. There's another FA Cup going in there.
I was kind of hoping Liverpool would get Wrexham.
That'd be a massive game. Get that in the Welcome to Wrexham. And then another game wasn't very interesting, but 3-0 lead. But I don't know if you've seen Patrick Bamford's goal. Ridiculous.
Mental.
Took it down, swivel, bang. The guy couldn't hit the target in the Premier League from 5 yards down. He's scoring screamers.
I know, it was ridiculous. I thought I was watching like Griezmann or something. It was ridiculous.
The blonde hair as well,
I know, it was ridiculous.
That same sort of vibe.
It's about time someone changed like, you know, their hair and like, you know, Rashford and Saka these days.
Yeah. But there's only one good blonde player in the league right now.
Who would have thought? Bamford,
But yeah, that was basically the roundup. Obviously, next round's a while away, so we'll preview that when it comes around. But interesting round in terms of few little things, but overall, I think as we expected, right?
There's a couple of. Have you seen the fixtures for the next?
I haven't quite seen them yet.
I think Man City play Tottenham, I believe.
Yeah, that's a tough draw.
What else is there? We've got Chelsea Villa.
Good game.
Liverpool either play Norwich or Bristol, and Man United have pretty easy one.
Rubbish,
Eastleigh or Newport County. So I
we'll
mean,
take those.
If you lose that, I mean,
Ten Hag's gone.
Steve McLaren at the wheel.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, like, good draw for Liverpool, good draw for United. I think if you're Man United, you're feeling pretty good about FA Cup at the minute.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a chance to win something.
It's a big chance.
And I guess, Sheffield Wednesday, Coventry.
Yeah,
it's some other good games in there as well. Leeds will be happy with their draw.
Leeds will be very happy.
Yeah, so Leeds are a team that's interesting because they're going to come up. Interesting to see if they go and maybe throw some weight around in a cup as well. Be interesting if that sort of works out as well.
Never know.
Now, our big segment, I guess, for this episode is our best player at every age.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just a Sky merchant. I'm taking over Sky's doing it. We're running with it here. But I didn't watch them, so this is all unique, individual.
Yep.
Thanks to FIFA for helping me out to confirm some ages as well.
Shout out EA Sports.
Yeah, EA Sports coming through. We're going to go ages 17 to 32.
Yep.
We know after 32, we sort of know who the best players are. You got Messi, Ronaldo, so blah, blah, blah. So
pretty much.
we're going through the ages that are in their prime, unless or playing football.
Yep.
Do you want to get kicked off with your 17-year-old?
I've gone with Lewis Miley.
Yeah, I like
Newcastle.
it. Yeah, I love it.
Obviously, he's had to play because of the injuries, but he's a really good player, man. And he's 17.
Yes.
You know, he can help. Bruno Guimaraes in there, obviously Longstaff, Joelinton. But yeah, a lot of Newcastle fans are really excited about him. And
I think he's like, if you look future, like I'm thinking like 3 euros away, you could be seeing Manu, Miley, Bellingham,
that's mental,
like as the
isn't
peak.
it?
Yeah, you know, like that could be like obviously a way away, but we're seeing it like live now. It's just
we're saying this, Southgate will still pick Henderson and Calvin
a
Phillips.
44-year-old Henderson.
Exactly. So.
Calvin Phillips still was on Man City's bench and he was going to kick as well.
Exactly.
I've been really impressed with Miley. I've got a bit of a soft spot for him. Yeah, I've been very impressed. Considering he's just been thrown in there.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole Tonali signing's obviously gone down the wayside.
Yeah.
So he's having to be Tonali basically in this team, so which is really impressive.
Yeah.
My 17-year-old Zaire Emery.
Yeah, good one.
Love it. I don't watch much of PSG, but in the Champions League you see a bit of them, see him come off the bench a little bit, see some highlights what he's doing. He's obviously a big talent. It's if these guys from PSG can continue to perform if they get transferred away. Like, does he get the big Barcelona or Real Madrid move?
Yeah.
Does he come Bundesliga or Premier League? Or does he stay in France and dominate these farmers for years to come?
I mean, I'd like to see him stay in France for a little while.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm saying that when he's in that sort of 24, 23 range,
Yeah.
or nowadays with Bellingham, if you're 20, you can move to a big club.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
he's obviously got the package there. You talk about, and he's like in this starting lineup with these great players at times. So that's, you've got some serious talent in your hands.
Good shout. Very good
see him in the
shout.
French team soon, maybe as well.
Yep.
You're 18-year-old.
I went with Matisse Tell from Bayern Munich.
I was close to putting you in.
He's averaging a goal or assist every, I think it's about 60-odd minutes, 63 minutes. Some of the goals he's scored this year, like right foot, left foot, and he's coming off the bench for most of those games because obviously they got Kane. But even in some games, Tuchel's taking Kane off and bringing him on. Like, that just shows not only the quality that he's got, but the trust that Tuchel puts in an 18-year-old.
Yeah, big player.
So, yeah, he's one that I think next couple of years, I think he's going to be one of Bundesliga's best.
Yeah, but because Kane's going to be there forever. He'll probably come back to Premier League or retire soon. That's just an automatic just switch over.
Yeah, exactve.
Clinical
he's
striker.
learning from one of the best. So
Exactly, yeah.
What could go wrong?
If you're going to learn from clinical first strikers, it's Harry Kane to go off.
Exactly.
I've gone similar to you in terms of my 18. I went Manu. So, I watched a fair bit of him.
Yeah, I was close.
Manu. Andre Goulet was there as well from Real Madrid, but we've only seen him once play for Real Madrid, so that's the only reason I didn't pick him.
Yep.
A lot of hype around him as well. That's I'm excited what he does, but Manu's playing night in, night out. It feels like for Man United, and everyone's angry when he gets benched. That's when you know that.
Yeah, that's when he first played against Everton. I was like, Jesus, why hasn't he been playing? I think was he injured at the start?
I think it might be an injury or just resting.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know why he's doing it because we are so desperate for players. Even last night, he's probably the best player on the pitch for us, which is ridiculous.
He's quality.
There's millions and millions of pounds in terms of wages.
Yeah.
And some guy that's probably on the academy wage just showing you up.
Exactly.
So it's good to see that academy vibe come through again with a few players. I just wish to see him more play and hope, fingers crossed, that he doesn't get injured.
Is he best as a lone six by himself? Is he best in a double pivot?
I think a double pivot right now. I think with what we're seeing now, though, again, totally off topic, but I've seen a lot of teams, and we're talking a few teams coming up about how they play, fluid midfields. Midfields where there isn't just a six, there isn't just an eight.
Yep.
Midfields that basically have, at times, maybe sixes and eights, switch, even at times the tens. Like, I look at your midfield, and we're talking about players to sign in the last podcast episode, and I was like, if you get Paulinho, then you've got like the most fluid midfield. I'd think probably the best midfield in the league if Paulinho joins Liverpool, because what you've got then is McAllister can play as a six, can play as an eight, plays a 10 as well. Yeah. So Bozak can play as a 10 or an 8. Paulinho is probably your 6, but he could go and be an 8 and throw his body around. Look at Villa. They don't have a 6 or an 8 anymore. They just have midfielders. Yeah. That's the way going forward, I feel like. So for Manu and for Manchester United, I think is right now Casemiro, when he comes back, will be there. I think you have to go with that. But then going in the future, just buy someone who's physical and can play on the ball, because that seems to be the formula going forward.
Yeah.
Midfielders who can play in all different roles, double pivots, and now, probably appear like that on the screen when they show the lineups.
Yeah.
But it's when you're out the ball, there's a certain structure. When you're with the ball, certain structure. Because he isn't, in my mind, just a holder. He's got playmaking and he's got that vision and IQ to his game. So I think he has the ability to either transform himself into an 8 or to play in that double pivot there.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting going in the future. I think that's where football is transitioning right now.
100%. Yep.
Mobile midfields. 19-year-old.
I
slam dunk.
Gavi.
Yeah, Gavi.
Yeah. It's unfortunate now because I believe he's done an ACL and he's going to miss the Euros.
Yeah.
But before his ACL, he's such a good player. In the times that I have watched Barca, which isn't a lot, but I have seen, he's got a bit of everything. He can get the ball deep.
Yeah, that's the
thing. And I think without him, Barca a little bit worse in midfield, big time. And that's saying a lot for a 19-year-old.
Like Gundogan's there trying to do a job. Frankie de Jong's had a bit of a drop off.
Yeah.
I'm just worried in terms of Pedri and Gavi, all these guys. If they keep getting injured, are we actually going to see the best of them?
They are overplayed a lot.
Even
national team, they play every minute.
They play all the time. Yeah. Like I look back at Ansu Fati, and that was supposed to be the next Messi.
Yeah.
Injuries, not proper recovery. I've read that stuff about the Barcelona physios not giving proper recovery. Now he's not even starting for Brighton. I'm just worried in terms of just being a football fan. You're not going to be able to see the best of these guys because that's a bad injury, man. These can be bad.
No, that's the worst injury in football.
Like you saw with Van Dijk when he came back. You guys took him a year to sort of get the pace back.
Yeah.
For a midfielder.
It's everyone as well. It's everyone, Is that and an Achilles, which are the worst injuries to get.
Those two you can get, right?
I know Achilles is more like you see that a lot in basketball. But yeah, like ACL, and it's more like the mental side of it.
Coming back as well, yeah.
It's so hard that first couple of months.
How do you go into tackles? How do you land after a headed?
Yeah. So
I think he's night and day, right, as a 19-year-old.
Oh yeah, he'll be fine.
He's 28, basically playing in a 19-year-old's body.
They just need to manage him the correct way.
Yeah, keep him healthy. I think the next one will be pretty much the same thing as well. Mr. Jude, hey Jude.
Hey Jude.
Talking about 28-year-olds and a 19-year-old body. This guy's basically a 35-year-old in a 20-year-old's body.
He's playing he's 28, 29 in his prime. 20 years old, man.
At Real Madrid, probably their best player.
Yeah.
Could be captaining the way he's going about things.
The expectation, to go into that club and to be, to replace Modric and Kroos and all these guys straight away.
We've seen in
ages,
exactly.
Yeah. He's just a freak of a player.
And I always say Bundesliga, you can take it with a grain of salt almost sometimes, but maybe they're proving us wrong. Haaland's proving us wrong. Bellingham's proving us wrong. But yeah, you're always a bit nervous with Bundesliga players coming to Spain, coming to England because they're different leagues to the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is it really going to work out? I reckon it's probably the best start anyone's had at a club.
It's definitely up there.
This is going to be I'm just going to simplify it now.
Yeah.
I taught in my video way back when he went early on, but I'm comparing to Zidane's start. He's better than Zidane's start. Probably better than Ronaldo's start as well. In terms of Real Madrid players joining the club, I can't think of any better.
You're probably not wrong, to be honest.
And he's English as well, so everyone talks about it. You can't not hear about him.
The English tax.
The English tax goes heavy there as well.
Ballon d'Or contender as well.
Haaland being out and not in the Euros.
It's all dependent on the Euros, big time. If they win it, if they get in the final and he still has an unbelievable tournament, he still wins it. But to even be in the conversation at 20 and playing as a sort of more of attacking midfield is just ridiculous.
We finally see that new generation, with
finally.
Messi and Ronaldo. It's finally someone new who's going to have a crack at it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Era of Mbappe, Haaland and Jude. You're 21-year-old.
I have got Pedri.
Okay. So I would have gone him. I'll let you talk about Pedri first, but I had something different.
I think these Barca youngsters coming through, Gavi and Pedri. I think I was close to putting Camavinga in, just because Camavinga's got that versatility. He can play at left back a bit.
Goalkeeper as well.
Goalkeeper. But Pedri, he's so good, man. He's so good. He moves the ball well. Finds good pockets of spaces to get into, and I think every time you drop out one of these youngsters, whether it's Gavi, whether it's Pedri, you see a drop off in Barcelona big time, and they're 19 and 21. So
goes to show you how good they are.
Yeah,
that La Masia, it's different gravy. I've gone different. I'm a very recency biased man. I've gone Josko Gvardiol as my 21-year-old.
Okay.
Again, it was between him and Pedri was very close. But again, with the Barca drop off, probably part of him not being there, but still, I think with what we've seen Vardy do in terms of the World Cup as well, for me was a big turning point. He was massive. The master assassin in that World Cup, he was incredible.
He was very good.
The way he just slid into Man City, it's not the easiest team just to come inside into. He seems to have been seamless into that unit. And the first 10 games was probably the most consistent for me in that City side. I think he was outperforming Ruben Dias in a foreign position at the sort of left back there. So with what I've seen recently, especially, I think the last 12 months, probably for me, the best 21-year-old.
That's a great shout. I kind of forgot about him in a way, just because he's playing out of position for City. And
doesn't feel like he's 21 either.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. That's a great shout.
Both of those, they're both massive for their units. I think Vardy can hide under so much talent at City. That's the way it is. But when you look at what he did before, again, another Bundesliga player as well, comes to perform, World Cup as well, a leader in that team. I feel like I had to mention him this one.
Yeah, great shout.
22-year-olds now.
I went with Rodrigo. Real Madrid.
Yeah, I went the same as well. People are going to hate it because they want Saka. But
Saka or Saliba, they were the first two that came to mind. But I just think with Rodrigo, he's clutch moments, he's been there.
Champions
Versatility
League
as well,
I
think.
Yep.
And, to be 22, playing for Madrid, right winger, you just got
his eyes on you 24/7.
Exactly, eyes on you 24/7.
And Shad as well, was in terms of like the last 8 weeks, no Vinicius.
Yeah, no.
He's had to hold that front line together because it's basically been him and Jude as a front sort of two at times, it feels like. So that has to be appreciated as well. And maybe because Saka's had not as good a start of the season as his season last year, but in terms of 18 months, I think Rodrigo's sort of
he's
head
right
and shoulders,
there.
right?
Yeah.
I think
he's been really, really good.
And the Real Madrid tax.
Like ever since he's got there, to be honest, he's been really good.
Like if Vinicius took a while, I think Rodrigo hit the ground running, right? We can all sort of agree on that.
Like there's a bit of like, if Mbappe was to come, we might have to get rid of Rodrigo, it's Valverde or something like that. There's been a little bit of links there, but like if you're moving on Rodrigo to bring in Mbappe, like that's not an indictment against the player. It's not an indictment against the player. It's just we're bringing in a generational player.
Could you see Vinicius, Mbappe, Rodrigo front three?
I don't want to see it because the whole world football would be shitting themselves, to be honest.
Then the world's done, isn't it?
Yeah. But if that was to happen.
Players though, aren't they? That's the thing.
Yeah.
But very dribbling, head down to the players. That's why I think Valverde is so important for Real Madrid.
Oh, he's huge.
Champions League ties, when you need that sort of player that can go inside, can go outside.
He can literally play anywhere.
Full back.
And he'll be the best player on the pitch.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah. Real Madrid, how do you call it? That was a prediction video last time you were here. I think they might do the treble. Yeah, because in Champions League, if City don't get up to speed, and obviously we haven't seen KDB back with them in a Champions League game, but if they don't get up to speed, I think Real Madrid might walk it.
Yeah, it's just hard to see anyone else being really competitive besides City.
Other than City.
But
and
even there,
like, you guys are probably the best team in England right now. You're not even in the Champions League. No. The Italian sides this year, they're all back to that sort of more defensively oriented. Like Napoli, which team we'll touch a bit later, they were the front-footed team. They were aggressive. Inter, similar, but it's all based on defence.
Yeah.
You're going to try and score goals into Real Madrid. And I don't think many teams can put past teams like Real Madrid like that.
If Mbappe comes, to be honest, if I'm Liverpool, I'm happy playing against Lusk and you.
Take the Europa League and take some
I'll
trophies.
take just give me a trophy.
Yeah, 100%. 23.
Haaland.
Yeah, Haaland.
I mean, it's kind of
obvious. Talk about this guy.
Obviously, there's Vinicius as well. He's unlucky to not get put in, but I mean,
should have been born different year, man.
Just be like a year younger.
Younger, be a year older.
But yeah, Haaland's just a joke, man.
Silent, right? It's a robot. He scores goals.
Yeah, the walking robot.
Yeah,
so,
and he's Man City and they've won a treble, so you can't really doubt him at all.
You can't not put him in.
Absolutely. 24.
This was
a harder one.
This was a harder one, yeah, because there's
a few names around that region.
There's not a standout for sure. Not a standout. I went with Arejo.
See, I was close. I went Decky Rice.
Yeah, that was the two I was debating.
Same here, yeah.
There was Rafa Leao as well, but I thought
he hasn't been as good this season.
Yeah, hasn't been as good.
Yeah.
I went with Arejo just because I can't ignore what he did last year with Barca, getting the helping to stay and get the most clean sheets in a season. It was probably the best defender in the league last year. Yeah. He's so good, and he's 24. It was a flip of the coin between him and Rice, to be honest. But yeah, I did go with Arejo.
And for me, Raul's. I know I had him in my team the year last week. Like I definitely rated him really highly. Declan Rice has been super consistent. I don't think he's had a bad game since 2018. Almost it
Yeah,
feels like a
yeah,
time
no.
when he was just getting into that West Ham side. I think as much as it was massive for La Liga title for Barcelona, West Ham to win a European trophy was also like phenomenal. Like Bazinga, you see the Bazinga block him crying. That's how big of a deal it really was. No, that was massive for them, and I think he was the catalyst for that. As much as it was like Paqueta had a poor season, and they were relying on odd goals from Bowen, it wasn't a really functional West Ham compared to this year. Definitely nowhere near the function of this year's West Ham side. He held that thing together. He held the ship together. Araujo was massive in terms of defence. I think he was the reason they kept those clean sheets. I think Declan Rice, in terms of an all-round player, man, I'm still waiting to see him play as an 8 because I think that's his best position. And are we ever going to see it? I don't know.
I don't get why. I know Partey was injured, but at the start of the season, I don't get why it wasn't. Partey's the 6, for us the 8. That was the general consensus was what the midfield was going to be,
I'm still waiting to see because I think his passing array, we saw it at times at West Ham when he had the opportunity to do it. I want to see him do it at a big club, man. I want to see him, go all out and play as an 8. So
I think you convinced me there. I'm not gonna lie. Seriously.
No, I don't know
because I think
Araujo's a serious player.
Yeah, he's really good. I think it's not his fault. I think he's dropped off slightly this year because there's been games where he's been playing like right back. Like you can play there, but Xavi's moved his defense way too much.
It's more
this season.
Xavi and their holes in their midfield rather than Araujo, though. I think.
Yeah, like he's playing left backs, centre backs, and he's got a centre back playing right back. It's just it's a bit all over the place. But
Xavi's starting too much at the moment.
It's a flip of the coin between them two.
Definitely. 25.
Trent.
No. You know what? Right now, you never know. You never know.
When you said we're doing 18 to 30 or 10 to 30, I was like, great. Trent gets in at 25. And then I was like, oh, God, how old's Mbappe? 25. Fuck. Got to put Mbappe in.
Kiki Mbappe.
Yeah. It's mental. He's 25 already.
It's
like
this is the thing where it's like the whole Ronaldo and Messi. That we've taken away probably 3 Ballon d'Ors or 2 Ballon d'Ors he could have won. Like he's 25. Like obviously, it's nowhere near. He'll be playing to 33, whatever, 34 at a high level.
Yeah.
But you're right. When I looked at it as well, Kylian Mbappe is 25 years old.
I know.
I still remember him being 17, scoring bangers for Monaco. And I'm thinking like, it's ridiculous.
It's such a shame that he hasn't had that big move yet because he's so wasted in that league, man. He's so wasted. He needs to make a move. Come into the season. He has to move to Real Madrid.
Or Liverpool.
I mean, I think I'd take him. But
tempting.
Obviously, Arsenal fans are trying to get in the conversation now that they could get him.
I just don't think... The only reason he'd moved to the Premier League was Jurgen Klopp. And I think he's come out and said that. That's the only hope you guys have. And maybe, like you said, if Ancelotti is still doing what he does at Real Madrid in that sort of more defensive mindset, does he go to Jurgen Klopp's side? And
I just think this deal's been planned for 2 years.
10 years in the making.
Honestly, it's just one of those... It has to happen.
Yeah,
it needs to happen. He needs to go to
right.
Yeah, I think it's just Real Madrid. I don't even think Liverpool have a chance. I just wages. Even if he said I would like to go to Liverpool, I just think wages is
$400,000 a week. Stupid.
Probably more. Yeah. We struggle to get Salah to.
Yeah, but that's the thing as well. Yeah, but he'd be or wherever he lands, it'll be ridiculous.
Oh, for sure.
Because with the players he'll have around him at either side.
Yeah.
God, and like we talked about, it'll be interesting to see how they'll work out at Real. He's got a lot of players that need to fit into 3 positions realistically.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mbappe, not head and shoulders, I think, at the moment.
Just like Trent, man. I want to put Trent in, but
25 and a half year old Trent Alexander-Arnold. Especially after last night's performance. Oh, the 2 nights ago performance. That was ridiculous. 26-year-old. This is another balanced one as well.
Yeah, there's a bit of like, I don't know, it's a bit of kind of an average age, to be honest. Not average, but like...
Yeah, there's not the standout.
There's not a standout, yeah. I went with Ruben Diaz.
Same here, yeah.
Frankie de Jong was kind of...
Yeah, as I say, if you give 12 months ago, I might go Frankie.
Yeah, I think Ruben Diaz has been ridiculous ever since he's come to City.
I think, I was probably very harsh on his start of the season this year. I think he hadn't started well, and I think maybe more because Vardiol came in and almost looked the better. And obviously what Stones did the end of last season. Maybe I was blinded. Yeah, and maybe that's to it as well. They weren't the greatest start of the season. Maybe I was blinded by all of what was going on. So I wasn't really big on what Diaz was doing the first sort of 10 games or 8 games a season. But ever since, you've seen City sort of tighten up. They're having to need to tighten up to win certain games.
Yep.
Whenever they play well, he plays well. So that's probably the easiest correlation.
If he plays well, if they lose, it's like, what the fuck? Haaland's probably missed about 10 times.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, that's probably more the point.
Yeah.
Definitely for me, the 26-year-old. 27.
Rodri.
Yeah, another Man City player.
Just one of the best.
Probably the best in the world.
Yeah,
in terms of
best
the position.
DM in the world when fit, when available.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best DMs to ever play in the Premier League, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just his capabilities defensively, what he can do. Obviously, he's so good at cutting passing lanes and shutting down whether it's Bruno or Odegaard or whoever.
Yeah.
But he can go forward and score big goals in big moments.
Big games, yeah.
Like, he's done it this year. Sheffield United away, they were struggling.
Yeah.
He scored. Obviously, Champions League final, he did it. You know, he scored to make it 2-2 against Villa last day of the season.
Yeah.
Like, you can't... Like, players like that are just so good to have in your team. And you need them in every team.
You can't find these players, though. And they had that 2 in Gundogan as well.
Exactly, they had
two guys that could do everything. Because Roger always gets said as the best number 6, but you're right, he's got all the facets of the game covered. It's always the aura of him as well. Maybe he's in the side. It's just every team takes City differently. You can't get out City. You can't win the midfield battle. It's like, give it up. It's like, play without the ball because there's no chance.
It's like when Arsenal had, like, Vieira in the midfield. Yeah. And, you know, like, Man United had Keane. It's like, fuck, I've got to go against this guy. Like,
yeah. It's just,
he's just a nightmare to play against.
You say those names, he's probably closing or eclipsed these players already. It's ridiculous.
The more they win, the closer he gets.
Trophies
De Bruyne's already probably the best.
Ever. It's ridiculous. That midfield when they're all together is something to behold.
Freakish. We're talking about bloody Mbappe joining Real Madrid. We've had it in the Prem with that midfield.
We've had it in the midfield of the best midfield we've ever seen. So I think FME night and day, the 27-year-old best player.
Yep.
28.
I went with Kimmich.
Kimmich as well, yeah. I think, there's some guys. You talk about best CDMs or best sixes. This guy's just knocking that door as well.
I know you guys spoke about Paulinho moving to Liverpool. I think that'll cost about sort of 70 million. I think Fulham will push high. I think he's just signed a new contract as well.
Yeah.
But for me, if you were to say you get a choice of a DM, who do you want? It'd be Kimmich for me. 100%. He's leader. I think he's the captain of Germany and Bayern. He knows how to win titles. He's done it for years. He's just a beast of a player. Hardly ever loses a 50-50.
No.
And he's experienced, which is what Liverpool need, as a bigger body and a more experienced body. We don't need younger players. We've already got that. Yeah. So Kimmich is, he's unbelievable.
He's someone that started at right back and went midfield and then back right. But he can play anywhere. You're right. And he plays at Bayern, where
he's not really talked about as well, because Germany have sort of flopped in the last couple of tournaments. Since that World Cup. Yeah, they've sort of flopped.
Nowhere near it.
And Bayern, like, people expect them to win the league. It's about, can they win the Champions League? Can they get to a semi? Can they get to a final? So, I think he's...
Though, right? He commands space. He's got that conditioning that Bayern players will have. So he's physical, reads a pass, his IQ. He reminds you of what Xavi Alonso was when he was at Bayern, where, like, you just know he's going to be there. So you just trust that the back four is covered or, the midfield can be controlled because
100%.
They have that ability on the ball where, again, another aura thing where you can't really touch this guy when he has the ball at his feet.
Yeah, no.
Vision-wise, like in terms of all-rounded, Rodri's probably the better number 6. In terms of all-round players, it gets a bit more of a conversation, I think, with Kimmich in there. And you're right, he goes under the radar so much with just small and that's what I think now we're in the era of understanding what these sixers do because in the last few years, you just go under the radar what Rodri and what Kimmich these guys can do. Small things, picking the ball up, transitioning the ball, breaking the play up, and then covering that back four. Because nowadays when fullbacks like Davies are literally left wingers and you've got, these centre-backs like Kim Min-jae also comfortable playing on the ball, you need someone to help them out just in case it goes pear-shaped.
It's a very underappreciated position.
Yeah, underappreciated, under-talked about as well, 100%.
100%.
29-year-old. Another interesting age, I think.
Yeah, another interesting one. Bernardo Silva for me.
Okay, I'll have to pick the other Portuguese guy. Yeah.
Bruno, I just think I love Bruno, but I think Bernardo, I said this last week in the team of the year, I think Bernardo Silva is so underrated.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Like all the talks about Rodri and De Bruyne, and of course it is, because they're freakish, right? Yeah. But Bernardo Silva, never injured, always plays. Yeah. He just roams around everywhere and he finds little pockets of spaces. He's just a little pesty.
Yeah,
he's a little pest. Obviously, that for the last couple of years, there's been talks of him like moving to Barca, a different challenge. But every year he just comes in, professional, does his bit, and it goes under the radar.
Yeah.
But I think that he's just so important for that team, wherever he plays.
Underrated is how he came in after David Silva as well. Like he almost was like, I think 2 years after David Silva retired or something like that. A lot of pressure with
Not
a Silva
a bad replacement.
A Silva name at Man City after arguably probably the best number 10 before De Bruyne in terms of David Silva. A lot of pressure to pick that up, and he's done well. And you're right, he picks up spaces, but what he does best is he's constantly out of position. He's playing right wing, left wing as like a central midfielder now. Like he's never played at number 10.
He's just given the license to just go out and play.
Just go and roam around, pick the ball up, put the ball in the box. Probably one of the best deliveries into the box as well, I think, in the league.
Yeah.
I just went Bruno. Maybe United bias.
No, his numbers over the last couple of years have been
numbers are ridiculous. And it doesn't correlate to much winning in terms of Manchester United, but he's been, I think, the top calendar year chance creator for like the last 2 years, and then was second behind KDB before that. Plays every single minute of every single game. Like, he shows passion in different ways that some people don't like, but I see the way he does it. That's the way he goes about it, and I appreciate that. He's one of a few that play at United that actually show care and passion for the club. And since he's come across, maybe other than KDB and Rodri, in terms of midfielders, I don't think you can name a more consistent midfielder. Has some downturns, but he's always come up with goals or assists in important moments. And if he had a better strike, I think you see his assist numbers skyrocket over the last few years. So for me, and it's also his Euro qualifying and World Cup work as well. He's quite important for Portugal as well. I think he stands out there a lot. So that's my 29-year-old.
Good shout. Very nice.
The final three now, 30-year-old now.
Probably the easiest, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it was as well.
30. Good job.
Harry Kane.
Yeah, Harry Kane.
It's a speak to itself. And he scored, 20-something goals already this season.
I mean, the next closest I could think of was like Edison.
That's the thing. But then like everyone slags him off for not being the full keeper.
Like Tots didn't have him as a top 5 keeper in the
Apparently,
Nick Leno's better than him.
Leno was better than him. Yeah, they're ridiculous.
But like Kane's just, the numbers speak for themselves.
That in different league now as well.
Yeah.
What can you say else about Harry Kane? He was at Tottenham, unfortunately, and then he leaves. You know what? Imagine if he was there now. The poor guy's going to move.
Jesus.
And maybe Leverkusen might win the Bundesliga over final.
If he was at Spurs now, though, imagine him under Ange Ball. Bloody hell. Because
he'd be perfect. No need to drop in. Just get him behind and score goals. Yeah. He's a goal scorer, top Tottenham goal scorer. He'll come back and probably take the Premier League's top goal scorer as well, I think.
You think he'll come back to the
I think that's the grand plan. He'll come back maybe for 2 years.
Is that to Tottenham or is that to a Man United?
I think he just wants to... he probably doesn't want it, but I think it'd be the right story to come back, take the record and finish on that, right?
Yeah, that's
even if it is for some middle table club or who knows what's happening by then. Maybe Bournemouth are pushing in, Bournemouth get a hold of him, something like that. That's what I can see it happening. But I think head and shoulders in terms of 30-year-olds.
Oh yeah, well above.
Now 31... This one was a harder one, but I think there's still one superstar that stands out for me. Mo Salah, yeah. There's a few names, though, in this, but I had to get him back up. I didn't invite them on my notes.
I had Alisson as the other.
It was Alisson and someone else as well. I'm sure there was... you can talk about Salah, but I'm trying to find this.
All I could think of was sort of Salah and Alisson, but ever since Salah's come to Liverpool, he's done everything. He's won everything. Even for Egypt as well, he's performed. He's taken them to... I think he got into a World Cup. He qualified. He scored a penalty. And it's just, everyone talks about Mo Salah every week. You can't say anything more.
Can't miss him, right?
You know, him going, that's why I'm so scared for the next transfer window because it's just Saudi money. And it's also Liverpool looking at the money going, Jesus, 200 million.
Yeah. Do we take this? Yeah. That's what they're thinking to themselves.
Yeah.
We'll see now because this AFCON and Asian Cup, how much you miss him. I think Liverpool, I guess the upstairs, Klopp will obviously know how much he means, but the upstairs might get a gist of how much you may need him, see how much you should value him come January, the summer. But Mo Salah. We're having a chat about this actually on Saturday night, Salah versus Hazard, in terms of their peaks and who's a better player. Obviously the better player is probably Mo Salah in terms of over so many periods, but I want to see what you think in terms of on their day. I'm thinking like gold jersey Hazard versus Champions League winning Mo Salah. Who are you picking?
It's hard because Hazard's so in his prime. Jesus, he was a freak of nature. Yeah. If we're talking over a season, I think Mo Salah's clear.
Clearly, yeah.
But I think if we're talking about a one-off game, I think Hazard is best.
Just
ridiculous, man. And
people compare them, but the funny thing I think about it, I can't remember if we talked about it last week. As much as Mo Salah's regarded as somebody who can get the ball at their feet and go, for me, he's not a dribbler. He's a guy who receives it over the back and then can do his dribbling. Like, in terms of one-on-ones, he's obviously good, but I don't think he's at an elite level in terms of
No.
dribblers. He's someone that, like we've said a lot, finds pockets or finds a way in behind the back line, and that's where he does his best work. Because he could go missing for 75 minutes. Then your left back makes one mistake and gets too high or tucks in too narrow. Goal. Mo Salah's through, he scores. That's the thing for me. In terms of just having moments, Mo Salah's got that in him. I think that's the big differential with the two of them, and they're taking the Premier League by storm. Again, there's taking a lot in this era, but he might go down as that best Premier League ever winger. Once it's all said and done, him, De Bruyne. I think these guys have run the league now for 7-6 years, however long they've been there. I think when he's gone, it's nothing. When they're gone, you'll appreciate how good he is.
You're bang on about like Salah having moments because like there's times during games where you're like, Salah, what are you doing? Like,
Where are you?
Where's your ideal at, man? And he just makes some stupid mistakes at times. But then you watch him, like the outside of the foot cross to Gakpo, like it's just a joke. The ball to Jota and then cuts to Jones is just ridiculous. But then, Hazard never had any of those. It was just I'm gonna beat the fullback, and I'll beat the centre back, and then I'll do what I want from there.
I just think, and it's underrated as well, his connection. Nunes now made Nunes look like an incredible passer. Mane, Firmino, like he makes other players around him look so much better. I think that's an underrated part of the game. The way they all work up top there. And then our 32-year-old, one name or so.
KDB.
Yeah. Probably the best player in the world.
Virgil unlucky to miss out.
I know, yeah. Again, I think 31, 32 and like 29, whatever it was probably the hardest the older ages because we've got probably the top 5, 6 players in the world. Like Van Dijk, probably the best player in the world on his day, but KDB, I don't think you can name a better player of the last 7 years.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Chelsea just fumbled the bag.
Oh, big time.
KDB and Salah back to back.
That's just common with Chelsea, fumbling a lot of bags.
Chelsea L,
Common Chelsea L. Todd Bowley L.
Just blue L. Just L for the Blues. Nah, KDB. KDB.
It's obviously KDB's.
He's made the league look silly at times.
Yeah, he
just
has.
Picking passes out of nowhere. Another player again who can maybe go a little bit quiet. Then all of a sudden he'll pick the ball up.
At times a little
find
bit.
a pass.
Yeah.
That's just the genius of these guys. They don't have a bad game because they'll have a moment in them. And I just think Man City, we've seen them struggle without him. And that's probably more a testament to him this season. Him missing City helped him more because we've seen them, in terms of City terms, have a crisis, which is lose 3 games in a short period of time. And that's massive for them. And, one of the early signings was KDB for Pep. And, Pep's a mastermind. He's a bald man, but he's a smart man.
Got him in his first season, I think.
And that's when right? I think it was Bravo and him and who was that third signing?
Oh, there was he bought in.
There was like a trio of them that were like the headline signings.
I think it was he bought in KDB, and then I think it was the year after he bought in all the fullbacks.
Yeah.
So I think it was KDB, Bravo, and was it like Jesus Navas or something like that?
Walker? Was Walker?
Yeah, maybe it was Walker.
Something like that.
Maybe.
But he was that poster for the new City regime, and ever since under Pep, what have they not won? So
yeah, exactly.
That's the testament to me, and he was good at Wolfsburg as well.
Yeah, he was. He had a good couple of years there.
As well. Just superstar.
Yeah.
Best player, I think, in the world at the moment. Yeah. So there's our list. In depth.
Good list.
Yeah.
Good list,
a lot of familiar names, but hey, you can't make too many bold calls on these players in the world right now. Now let's talk about globally now, starting in Germany and Spain. So right now we've got 2 league leaders that we wouldn't expect. It ain't Barcelona, it ain't Real Madrid, it's Girona, and in Bundesliga, we talked about Bayern Munich being second. It's the Leverkusen up in first.
Yep.
Big stories. And I've meant to do a video on it solely, but I thought we could bring it up here and talk about it here because I think we might be in a bit of an era now. We're going to see teams do this, have these seasons where they show off.
I hope so, yeah.
Like Villa are doing,
like
what these 2 teams are doing. And the common theme I see with these 3 clubs at the moment is attacking football.
Yeah.
It's no longer, Leicester were, what's the word? They weren't obviously all out attack, but had a little bit of that, but it was more defensively orientated, and teams in the past would win titles 80 points. We're in the generation now of you need to score goals, and Girona are top 3 scorers in the world to the European leagues. Bayer Leverkusen are scored first as well, I think, or second. That's the ideology, I think, right now.
Yeah.
Like Liverpool doing as well, they've changed how to be attacking. And I think right now they're not smaller clubs, but Girona's come and had this massive turnaround in 3 years. City investment, Guardiola's brothers like behind the scenes as masterminding all this together.
Yeah.
And it's just exciting to see fresh face at the top. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm just loving seeing new faces.
Yeah, that's what I love. And you smashed it about how it's not defensive football that's winning it for them.
Yeah.
Like Leverkusen defensively have been like still really good. But like offensively they've been a joke with like 3 at the back, the fullbacks get nice and high with Grimaldo and Frimpong. We spoke about them and their numbers last week. Even a team like Girona, like they concede a lot of goals, but they score a ridiculous amount.
Stupid.
And like they play like a 4-2-3-1. But during game you'll see like one of the centre backs move into midfield to create that extra man and go to like a 3-4-3.
Yeah.
And it's like that's why I think like Girona, they can win it. If the goals keep on coming, it doesn't matter how many they concede because of how good they are going forward. If they can keep scoring goals, depending on obviously Madrid, you'd have to have as the favourites for sure.
But you never know what injuries they have their injury run. The Girona thing is, I was looking at some of the analysis of how they set up. At times, they'll have 2 at the back and like 5 in like a front 5 with like 2 10s. It's what they've got is the overload like to a T. So their left back, I think, what did I have his name down? Left back Gutierrez.
Yeah, Gutierrez.
Basically plays as a centre midfielder.
Yeah.
Because when they have the ball, he goes centrally. DM drops in as a centre back.
Yeah.
The wingers stay really, really wide, and they just overload the central and right-sided areas and they end up just having so many players in the final third. They can just drop the ball off, play in triangles, and they just dominate sides apart, like break sides apart. And recently, that Atletico Madrid result last time out, which I watched that game quite heavily. Atletico were good. We expect that from them, but I think Girona were probably the better of the two sides in terms of chances.
Yeah.
And that's what they're just going to do. They're going to out-chance create. They're going to score more goals than teams.
Yeah.
And it's literally going to be a battle of Real Madrid's sort of, they're still front-footed team, but they're more defensive philosophy under Ancelotti versus their all-out attack that Michel and Girona are going to do. And it's just exciting to see that we're not going to just have that 3-horse race or 2-horse race in La Liga again.
Yeah, it's good.
10 points clear of everyone else.
Like, if you score 2, we'll score 3.
Yeah.
Like, and it's good to see, man, because like they don't have the players like a Bellingham and like the best players in the world.
Yeah.
What they have is a coach that identifies the players that he's got, plays to the strengths. Every team has weaknesses, but let's forget about those. Let's focus on our strengths and let's make them so good that teams find it so hard to stop.
Yeah.
And that's what they've done.
Like the names are household names either, aren't they?
Yeah, like you said, Daley Blin's there.
Daley Blin's
like
there.
He was supposed to go back to the Netherlands to retire, have a nice little honeymoon at Ajax, just chill.
He could win in La Liga.
He's gonna play Champions League football next year.
See that Savio on the flanks, Dobvik, the striker, the Ukrainian striker.
Stelani's one of the.
There's another player there as well. Sagankov, I think. Another Ukrainian winger. The wingers stay high and wide.
Yeah.
It's just like it's a modern. Like we see Ange do it as well. It's the way to go forward. I feel like it's just got to attack.
Yeah.
Got to score more.
Exactly.
Liverpool, Aston Villa. We've got here Real Madrid to an extent. Girona. Then we've got Leverkusen in Bundesliga, right? And they're doing a very similar thing. 4 points clear of Bayern. Xavi bringing all that learning he's done off Mourinho, off Ancelotti, off Benitez, off Pep, and he just put together. And you're right. The thing about by Leverkusen is the way they play is different to Girona. It's 3 at the back. It's fullbacks.
They're fullbacks. The stamina and like the ability to just go up and back all game is a joke. Both of them.
I don't know how you train that. That's just. And the thing is, Frimpong was being converted to like another 10 or a winger last season. Yeah. And Xavi's like, no, you're playing right back for my team. Grimaldo, someone that's linked to everyone. No one put the
they got him on him. They got him for free from Benfica.
For free.
Like it's great recruitment. It's giving the manager what he wants, and then it's the manager using the players in the way that he sees fit and playing to their strengths.
That's in part of your strength. They brought Xhaka in there, Boniface in there.
Yeah.
They got real titans in midfield there. Palacios as well. Guys that'll be ugly work. Then you got all the Hollywood players around them, and it just works like so well.
Yeah. Like I remember watching Frimpong at Celtic, like the odd Celtic Rangers game I'd watch, and you see him now. Like 4 years ago to now, like it's just ridiculous the play he's become as one of the best right backs in the league in the world at the minute.
And he's brought Spain to Germany is what he's done as well.
Yeah.
It's this high possession, high passing, Like Tapsoba, Tal, these guys, their passes in terms of per centre back per 90, they're in like the top 1 percentile in terms of they just have possession, they pass the ball at the back, they play this brand of football. And I think what it is now as well, it's managers, like you said, getting what they want and then putting belief in their players.
Yeah.
Because Jonathan Tal was never really known for this possession style of football, never this sort of style. It's Xavi Alonso saying, no, you play this style of football, let's play possession, let's believe in ourselves. And they beat teams different ways as well. They do play high possession. At times against Bayern Munich, they don't have possession, but they still win. Like I remember that Grimaldo free kick was a worldie. The ability to win in different ways, to be attacking and stylish when you need to, but then also have to not suffer. They only got 48% something Bayern Munich, but still to go against your philosophy for a little bit as well and win as well is something to talk about. And then Florian Wirtz for me, we talked a bit about
it. It helps having a player like that big time.
We talk about KDB. This guy I think could be the next version of a KDB.
Yeah.
He's 20, I think, at the moment.
He's at least early 20s, maybe.
Valued at like 100 million.
Yeah.
Like, I highlighted him as someone at City.
That would be like a kind of like for like.
KDB gets older, chuck in the next best thing.
Gets off to Saudi, gets his millions.
Yeah, gets his mills. Yeah. He's been impressive as well. Like, they're just... And it's new formations. There's 2 number 10s at Bayern Leverkusen. It's like Girona, they basically play 2 number 10s at times. It's just exciting to see different things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
We've gotten so used to 4-4-2, then 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. Like, it's time for different.
These teams aren't afraid to be open and expose themselves to the back, and I'm here for it.
It's making me want to watch them. It's making me want to...
I've watched a bit of Leverkusen here and there, because obviously with the Europa League, they've been the one thing where, like, if we go into them... like,
you'll be worried about them. Yeah.
But, like, some of the goals they scored, just... no team in the world can stop it. They bounce to the midfielder. Yeah. You got Grimaldo making that overlap. Yeah. They'll play about 2 or 3 intricate passes, and then Grimaldo will get it, cut it back, and they'll score. Yeah. It's like... It's Xabi Alonso football.
It is.
It's similar to how he played it at Liverpool, and it's just...
Isn't that right? I thought it's Liverpool, Xavi Alonso. Yeah. That's what it is to me.
If Klopp was to leave, Xavi Alonso.
Get him there, get him right there.
Put it down, sign the contract.
Sign the thing.
Write whatever he wants on there.
Sign Jurgen Klopp to whenever he needs to retire. Just do the exact crossover. You come in, Klopp go out. Yeah. Bang.
But it's like what you said. It's good to see these clubs that, Leverkusen are a big club in Germany, but Girona, like Villa, again, a big club in England. But these teams that you would expect to be sort of battling for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th maybe. Yeah. Challenging for titles. It's so good to see.
I hope one of them wins it.
Oh, it'd be so good, yeah.
Just for the confidence and just the belief that this generation, that these teams can go out and play solid football. Like Brighton try and do it. Everyone's trying to do it now. Everyone's playing this open branded football. Because then we'll see more teams up there. And your Simeones can get binned off and we can play even more exciting football.
It's hard with Leverkusen because, I want them to win it. But then it's like Harry Kane.
Harry Kane. I feel bad about Harry Kane as well, yeah. And then for my prediction, I don't want Girona to take it off Real Madrid. I feel like that's a bold prediction that could go well. No, it is like that. But then even like Napoli, we might as well transition onto them right now. Bit of a fall this year, but that was a team last year under Spalletti was playing aggressive front footer style of football. Kvaratskhelia, Osimhen, chance. And they won the Scudetto. But then what we've seen this year is a...
Defensively, they're nowhere near as good.
A collapse.
Yeah. I looked at it a couple of weeks ago. I think out of the top, I think it's 11 teams they've considered the most.
It's not good.
And that just showed the impact that Kim Min-jae had on that team last year.
Ridiculous.
Was ridiculous. I mean, he won Serie A Defender of the Year.
Yeah.
And obviously, if any club was to lose a player of that caliber, it's hard. But I mean, it's just mental how one player can change.
And it's impacted the whole part of the pitch. Even going forward, they're still a threat. But we haven't seen that same sort of Napoli where goals were coming for fun. And sitting, 9th at the moment. The last result was a 3-0 loss to Torino. Yeah. They're out of the cup.
I think Osimhen's still been not bad.
Not bad. Same as Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah, he's dropped off a little, I think.
They've had a little upturn recently, but when you've got links, both of them away the club constantly, and then the off-field stuff with Osimhen as well.
I think the off-field stuff has really affected, especially with Osimhen. I felt like every week he was going to go, and then he's not going to go. He's going to sign a contract. It's similar to Arsenal now.
It is
everything that's going on there.
Yeah. It's like the blueprint's been made. New manager obviously doesn't help either. The manager came out and said there's a lack of connection. We're going to try a mid-season camp to try and build chemistry. they've got Oshman's out with AFCON, same as Anguissa as well. So you lose some identity there as well. It just isn't going right for them at the moment. And they got Barca in the round of 16 of the Champions League.
You can't really see them beating them.
Yeah, as much as Barca's been great, you can't see that. So then what does the season become?
Yeah.
They've got the Super Coppa quarters or semi, I think.
Yeah.
That's the only real trophy I can see them getting.
Yeah.
And then
it just needs to be a
big
reset.
Yeah, do they try and get a top 5 to try and get Conference or Europa League football? That's what the goal has to be, right? But sitting ninth, nowhere really near it. It's just a shame because that was
a bit of just a nothing. Yeah,
it was so exciting last season. Like you, as a Liverpool fan, you would have seen firsthand.
Oh yeah, I saw the game when they flogged us 5-1. I think it was 4-0 at half time. I've never seen Virgil van Dijk step away from a striker the way he did against Osimhen.
Yeah.
Like Osimhen took the piss out of him.
He did.
You know,
he really
did. I don't know how you say his name.
Just Wi-Fi bastard.
Ronaldo. He was like bullying Trent. I was screaming at Trent because he just let him go past. But just the drop off. Like, obviously, you can't put it on losing Kim Min-jae. There's other things that have gone on
as well.
But I think a big reset is going to need to happen for Napoli.
You want to see him back. The scenes after the Scudetto, we had 33 years. You see the streets were packed.
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous.
You love seeing that. And you want to see that, and it's just like we were just saying before, like these new teams that are playing this style of football, they were earlier. They were last year playing it. It's just a shame they've sort of had that drop off.
Do you think they need to sell Osimhen to kind of just
maybe they
get the monkey off the back?
Yeah,
let's just deal with that situation. If he wants to stay, give him a massive contract and just end any sort of talk about it.
But he signed that deal, didn't he?
Yeah, he signed like a 5-year deal or something.
I just don't know where you go with them. And this is me as I watch a little bit of Bundesliga, I watch a bit of La Liga. I don't watch much Serie A, so I don't really get much of what's going on and how it all works and stuff like that.
Yeah, there might be other issues that we don't know about.
Yeah, there's other issues there as well. But then, like, if I'm Napoli, I'm treating this guy like a god. Like, what is it, like, the goal involved like 30-something plus last year. I just don't see why you...
Think about how hard it is to find strikers these days.
And he came and hit the ground running for them.
Yeah.
They weren't great. They finished 5th the year before, but he was massive for them.
Yeah.
And you let him walk away like this a Premier League... I know Premier League's, the big draw is a Premier League. It's always going to be a big draw, but you listen, let this guy walk away like that.
Yeah,
So
I think is it 130 million?
130 release clause. That's obviously, the thing. If you sign a new contract, scrap that release clause.
Yeah, no, I don't get why some teams put release clauses on players.
Because if I'm any club,
especially with the amount of money in like Saudi and stuff now, like why would you even risk it?
Exactly. Because if you're at Real Madrid and you hypothetically don't get Mbappe next year, 130, I'm taking that in a heartbeat and getting him across. Because Austin ain't saying no to Real Madrid. Yep. So that's the thing.
Yeah, they got to find a way to keep.
There's a lot of things going on there.
You got to scratch this talk of him moving because it's not only affecting probably him, but that entire club.
The squad as well, yeah.
If we lose him, there's not really any strikers out there at the minute. Unless you want to overpay like Liverpool did at the time for Nunes because we needed someone because there was a lack in.
That's the thing. It's going to be a young Portuguese or Brazilian sort of striker.
Exactly.
Unless you want to pay overs for a Premier League striker, which I think you're not going to do that. So
exactly.
You have to start again. Yeah, it's not looking good for Napoli right now.
It's a bit worrying.
Yeah, tough time for them. And just to round us out, back to England in the lower tiers. Wayne Rooney, the sack. I think it was about a week ago now, but I just want to bring up. I want to hear your thoughts on the whole player to management eras. Ole, Lampard, Paul Ince, what are they? Gerrard, Scott Parker. The names could go on and on and on. And I think maybe Carrick and Arteta have probably been the two successes in England.
Yep.
But obviously there are 5 managers in England who had failed as former players. And these are, we're talking like Gerrard, Lampard, probably the best England midfielders of all time, failing. I'm talking about Scott Parker, who's a mind of the game, failing. Rooney, who's from the sounds of it, a great mind. When he joined Birmingham, the fans were on board with what his mindset was all about. Yeah. Derby talked about how even though they got relegated, he was bringing that mentality to the club. Yeah. Do you think these former players are going to work as managers, especially in England?
It's hard. I don't think there's a definitive answer. They just struggle for different reasons. Just on Rooney, Birmingham was 6th, and then they sacked their manager. And I remember going on Instagram just to have a look at the comments, and there was what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, why have we done?
Why have we done this?
Yeah.
And I think now they're 20th, and it just goes to show players. It's not the players are crap. It's just that they've sacked their manager. They were 6th. They were happy with him. They were in a good run of form, and then you you bring in a manager for like a bit of PR, like a bit of commercial. And I think players sometimes when they see that, they're like, okay, well, like, how do we trust this guy?
Yeah.
Like, we know you've just brought him in for the commercial sort of side of it. But I think it's weird how so many good players they turn into managers, and for whatever reason they just can't do it.
Can't do it.
I don't know what it is, honestly. I don't actually have an answer for it. It's hard
because they obviously all have great mind. They've all played the game, so they have the eye for the game. I just don't see
coached by
the best.
best.
Like obviously we're seeing Xabi Alonso work, and and we're seeing Arteta work. And
there's obviously a few.
Zidane had worked.
You would expect a lot more, wouldn't you?
And then look at like what Mourinho, Klopp, Ancelotti, was he even that good of a player? Like all these guys are average players that turn out to be fantastic managers.
Like Klopp
he was stinky.
He wasn't very good.
Division 2 German player.
I've seen one goal he scored, was just like a back post header, but like, it was,
and he's the best manager in the world. Like it's just strange, and like Rooney.
I think the only thing I can think of is football's changed so much over the past sort of 5 years. Obviously, we've spoken about it with Leverkusen and how teams aren't afraid to be exposed at the back. I think sort of back when Gerrard and Lampard and all these guys were playing in their prime, like the football was a bit different, and because that's when they were most successful in their prime, they try and coach like around that sort of level.
I get what you mean.
But football's changed, and
more developed
you can't. It's the same how Wenger stayed too long at Arsenal. Like he was playing the same football. There was no progression. They were finishing fourth every year. I just think players that become coaches, they coach teams when they were playing. Does that make sense?
Not
how they were taught to play. Not
in
the way that like successful teams do now. The way they play. So
it's just mind-boggling. because like I've seen some of what Rooney's done. It's trying to keep up with the age, but it just doesn't seem to work. It's a high pressing. It's a like inverted full, like the fullbacks that never play fullback, they're trying to invert and all this stuff. But maybe they're not understanding the players around you as well. Maybe that's a part of it, because like I think the biggest thing was for me like Gerrard with Villa. How you can go from relegation to Conference League and now top of the Premier League.
Baffles me that, because they started off playing well.
Yeah, he had a good start there.
For whatever reason, I don't know if the players lost it. Maybe it was a bit of everything. Players lost a bit of trust. He lost a bit of confidence. I don't know.
All of them. Ole started well. Lampard started well.
Yeah.
Gerrard started well. Arteta's started well. Just what happens now?
Yeah.
Like,
there's no definitive answer. It's just these guys. They've been involved in football for like 30 years.
Yeah.
Like, their entire life. You would think they would sort of know that football evolves and football changes. And maybe they're trying to change the way that they play to suit that, but
same ain't working right now.
Yeah. I don't know.
Get me as a manager. I've never played, so I'll be fine. Sign me up. Yeah. That's my job hiring. Perth Glory, take me in. I just want to finish off for this week's pod with Saudi. Now, this podcast basically was built off Saudi. Its iteration was started off Saudi because we had nothing much to talk about. And all the names went across. And we were talking about the master plan that was to make Saudi Arabia basically a Champions League entry, sort of like a sort of Super League thing, and how they were going to work that way around. For Henderson, Firmino a little bit earlier, but for Henderson this week also coming out saying he wants back into England. Players complaining about the training and, playing environment being too hot, too humid to handle. There's obviously been some success stories. Ronaldo, Mitrovic, Benzema seems to be adjusted there well, but there seems to be a lot turning their back again on Saudi. Your thoughts on it all in all? Is it going to blow up in front of their face?
I think Saudi Arabia will start to die down a little bit. I think it doesn't really matter how many players are successful. I think when there's a couple that are saying, I don't like the humidity, I'm playing in front of 800 people when I want to be playing, I think that'll turn a lot of players off. Obviously, there's the money there, and they'll always have that money. But like we saw Salah sort of dismiss that already. It's not about the money. So I think it'll start to die down a little bit. But I think guys like Henderson, Firmino, shouldn't have left, boys, but but the fact they already want to leave,
6 months.
Henderson's gonna have to. I read a bit. He's gonna have to pay I think it's like a chunk of tax, he's gonna take no one's gonna pay the money he's on now. I think it's like $700 grand a week or like a ridiculous amount. So if he wants to come back, he's going to have to take a big pay cut, which, I mean, he's already got millions anyway.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And he's not going to be returning to a Liverpool or, he'll have to go to, maybe does he go back to Sunderland
Yeah,
in the
that might help
Championship?
them.
Does he go to, I think a Brentford could look at him because I think they're in a bit of trouble now. I think they need a bit of experience. But
it's just like Brighton need a midfield like that, but then like they've already tried Milner's and they're going to try another.
yeah, Brighton, I wouldn't do that. I think Brentford.
The rumour is Chelsea, which is ridiculous in my mind. Maybe because of the wages, but I read that this morning that Chelsea are interested in, and I'm like, you can't keep doing this to yourself. Like, it's self-sabotage.
If he goes to Chelsea, that's
I laugh.
That will be the stupidest move in football ever. There's no chance that happens. Surely not. I know Todd Bowley's pretty stupid.
Surely he's not that thick in the head.
Surely not.
Yeah.
So if Arsenal go after Henderson, same thing with Mudryk, maybe.
Yeah. God.
There's no way that happens.
If it does, it'll be laughable. Firmino, though, I think that's a viable option for a lot of clubs.
That's still a player there.
Yeah, he's a player that's so important in terms of false nine or number 9 or playing as a 10 or play off a flank. So versatile, so important to team play.
Yeah.
I think he's so underrated in that Liverpool side.
Yeah, he can link up play so well. I think Nottingham were looking at him maybe.
That's a good move for them, especially with their 1 year's injuries.
Yeah, a club like that could. I think there's still a player there.
Even
he can still play at the
Bournemouth
highest
got a very quality front three, but even if you can slip him in there somewhere as well, add some depth.
Yeah, Firmino's much different to Henderson. Firmino can still play at a reasonably high level.
Yeah,
I think Henderson. I think
Henderson's here for a retirement plan. Yeah.
Lower end of Premier League Championship kind of level player at the moment.
It'd be good for a Championship team trying to come back up, like Sunderland. I think that's bang on there.
I think that'd be good for him.
That'd be a fairy tale story, wouldn't it?
Oh, it'd be good. Yeah, it'd be good for him. I mean, it's just ridiculous the fact that some of the players
6 months, it's ridiculous.
All the money.
Yeah.
Sort of Henderson turning his back on what he sort of his beliefs and wanted to change Saudi Arabia football, but then wants to
give up already.
It's a bit disappointing, but
well, might see more. We see these two who are sort of, in terms of ethics, I think, wise the leaders in terms of they're the ones that work hard or here to build teams. If they're leaving, we could see a mass exodus, and it could be similar to China. I raise it, and we're talking about it'd be the Chinese league, and it could be the same thing where in 5 years' time we're only seeing a few go there, and the rest are all back where they belong, probably in the Premier League. I think Jota, the former Celtic winger,
he's
peak of his powers, jumping across to Saudi.
Doesn't even play.
For me, it made sense, but now that the player's already turning it back on it, it makes
I think we'll start to. Obviously, you'll still get the odd couple of players because of the money.
Yeah,
it's just you can't turn it down for some players. But I think I can't see big players still
going over there anymore.
I just can't see it.
Ronaldo tried, Ronaldo failed. I think at the end of the day,
50 goals. Wasn't enough.
It was enough to convince him to come across. Before we end up, since we've gone up on Thursday, we'll just look at the fixtures coming the weekend, get your thoughts on a few of them. Shorter weekend, only 5 games. Burnley, Luton to kick us off. We're thinking of Luton win or Burnley win, another relegation, sort of 6-pointer there.
I think Burnley need it. I think being at home, if Burnley don't win this game, I mean...
Sayonara.
I mean, they might be gone. And if they get a win, I think... they'll be about 2 points off relegation, but Luton are playing good football.
I like the way they're playing their footy at the moment.
I think it's got a draw written all over it.
Yeah, a bit of a 1-1.
A bit of a 1-1.
Yeah.
But if I was to pick a team, I'd go Luton.
Yeah, I think
Luton are a decent team. Like, they're hard to play
like
against.
Rob Edwards, the manager as well. Yeah. Makes you think hard to play against Chelsea, Fulham, or London affair there. God knows what Fulham or what Chelsea going to come out again.
That could be another draw, to be honest.
It could be 4-0 Chelsea, 4-0 Fulham, 1-1. Like, it could be anything this game.
It'd either be a 1-1 or a scrappy 1-0.
Yeah.
Chelsea or Fulham.
Home form should hopefully help Chelsea that one there. And then probably one of the big games of the weekend, Newcastle hosting Man City.
Big game.
Can Newcastle put up another performance like they did early in the season?
I hope so.
This is a danger game for City because Newcastle was very good at home.
It's one of those, They
don't lose many at home.
And they're starting to get a couple of players back now. Obviously had a good win against Sunderland. That'll give them a bit of confidence. I think
Newcastle could nick this.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. De Bruyne, I don't think will start. I think they'll sort of ease him back in.
Yeah.
But I mean, they still got Foden, Bernardo Silva, so
everyone.
I think
going to be a hard one to pick that one.
I'd back City to win that, to
Yeah,
be honest.
okay, yeah.
But I think if Newcastle can go there and start well, I think it
don't concede first.
Don't
Whoever
start
concede
slow.
first,
If you concede first, you won't get back in that game. So
definitely. Obviously, Villa probably beat Everton. I don't think there'll be much questions asked there.
Everton are good side.
Everton will be hard at home, but I think Villa need to bounce back.
Yeah,
and
they do.
I think Everton are going to be the unlucky bunch that cop Aston Villa on the bounce back.
Yeah.
And then Man United, the big game, Man United Spurs.
You're doing a...
We might be doing a watch on that. You might be Vicky if you're available. We're trying to...
Cheeky.
Obviously, the other Man United fan that's normally here, he can't make it apparently, so shows the fake fan in the room. But we should be doing a watch on for that one there. Big game, probably the game of the weekend.
Big game.
Ten Hag versus Postecoglou. Interesting one, this one here.
What do you reckon about that game? Are you confident going into that?
I'm never confident because we have one good game, one bad game.
Yeah.
Again, I think whoever starts better is probably getting on top because Tottenham normally start on fire in games. So if United can just weather the storm early on, that'd be a big thing. I think a big thing as well is who plays in each side's midfield.
Yeah.
So many injuries for Spurs.
Yeah, it's going to be a big
selection for United.
Squad selection for Ten Hag. If Manu doesn't play, I swear to God.
Yeah, United's screwed.
Players like that, he's 18. Get him to learn on the job type thing.
Yeah, what did Ferguson or like Wenger used to say? Yeah, if they're good enough, they're old enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, as long as they're good enough, play them. And obviously the strikers, Richarlison's got into some form. Højlund's still looking for some form, but two sort of
Højlund will come. It's just a matter of can the team around him start to
feed him in.
Because he's a good player. You saw it in the Champions League.
Top goal scorer still. So
yeah.
There's still some player there.
So there's a player there. It's just a matter of can the rest of the team get going. I think the injuries have cost you guys big time this year. I don't think you're as bad as what some people say. I think Martinez being out's been massive.
I think that's the big one.
I think
right?
it's been massive.
Him and Casemiro hurts.
He's a ridiculous player.
Martinez.
He's very good.
Interesting though. You reckon that game? At Old Trafford probably helps a little bit.
I'm gonna go with United at home. I think United at home will do it.
First goal wins. I think over the weekend.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to bet against Tottenham because
they
play such good football and it's hard to play against.
Exactly, and Timo might be there off the bench as well, so you're going to see a bit of Timo magic.
Timo time
at Tottenham. Tottenham. Yeah, and the fact that Richarlison's scoring goals, Brennan Johnson's found some, and Kulusevski's almost made it hard for Maddison to come back in at number 10 because Kulusevski's made that position his own. So it seems so stupid going against Tottenham. Yeah, I'll back my boys in. I can't.
I'll back United. It's more because I don't want Tottenham anywhere near Liverpool to be honest.
That could be the Joker, I guess.
Yeah.
I
don't think Tottenham are out of it.
No, I'm not.
Honestly, if they didn't have all their injuries, I think they'd be top of the league by a couple of points. To be honest,
that Chelsea game was obviously a debacle, but if that wasn't a debacle,
I don't think they lose to Wolves.
You don't go in that massive sort of
West Ham. I don't think they lose.
Yeah,
maybe they lose.
It's just the way they play, though, right? They get these results. They're going to lose these games to West Ham because they play so, as we said, like Girona, all these teams, they play so expansive. They get caught in the break. West Ham, they just line up with Tottenham so well in terms of one team counter-attack, one team just attacks all out. But yeah, I don't know why it's a 5-game weekend, but that's what we've got.
It's a bit of a weird period game. Liverpool don't play in the league till the 22nd of Jan.
I know, they split across 2 weekends. So ridiculous. Anyway. A little bit of excitement. We should have a watch song. You might be here for that one as well if you can make it.
Come on, you Spurs.
No,
I'm going for United.
Yeah, check some United jerseys on. That being said, man, thank you for coming on again this week.
Thanks for having me.
Might see you again next week if timelines line up again. Hopefully, not too busy again. We'll do it all again.
Sounds
more
good.
Global news, not so Premier League bias. So yeah,
hopefully the transfer
can spice up something. Yeah, we can talk a bit about that as well.
Maybe Tony gets a move. Maybe Liverpool do something.
Maybe Osherman might be a move as well.
We'll see what happens.
Thanks again, mate. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you guys next week for another Thursday or Tuesday episode. We'll see you guys then. So then, guys, see you later.